welcome to another edition of Taking Over. I am Ed Fries, and I am joined by my tag team partner, the one and only Astrid Pizarro. Big night in NXT tonight. They promised a big show. They delivered a big show. I've got some. Well, they didn't deliver. Well, it's the big show. They delivered a big show.
I didn't want to do it, but definitely that's what I was thinking.
There was no way I was going to miss that. Thank you, Andre, for subscribing with Astrid for another month. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much for joining us. We've also got our friend Bobby Munson in the house. Good evening, video bro, Bobby Munson. We've got Chris Best, who hosted Turnbuckle Talk today in Carl's absence. So go ahead and definitely check out Turnbuckle Talk today as they go ahead and talk about the Matt Riddle enigma and all things Matt Riddle, amongst other various topics with Chris Best and OMD. We've got Daphne in the house. Hello, friends. Hello, Daphne. Hope all is well with you. We've got Sean Cena. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, it's been it's been a rambunctious 2 hours on NXT. Lots of note taking. Chris Best, failing accomplished, having just wrapped up on another edition of Turnbuckle Talk. You did indeed. That Canada dude saying no problem. And of course, Sean Cena's having us open with the big topic. Can I just say Grand Slam? Oh, you know what I'm going to say? Mistake Bex. I'm going to call it that. It's a mistake.
No.
It's a mistake. It is giving short-term gain in sacrificing long-term benefit to Tiffany Stratton. Do I dare just start going into this? Or do I save it for the end of the show?
Let's just do it now since we have everybody here.
Since we're here, we got people here, we're going through it. Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton. Wonderful match. Tiffany's best match, period. End of story. Becky Lynch still very, very clunky. Everything that Tiffany did was fluidic. It just flows from move to move, spot to spot. Tiffany just gets herself in the right spot and does the right stuff. Becky Lynch still the clunkiest, best wrestler I've ever seen. I've never seen a wrestler as good as Becky Lynch that is constantly as clunky as Becky Lynch is in these matches. Every spot seems like it's a fight to get somebody in the right spot, to do the right thing. She never seems to just flow in any of this. That being said, she made Tiffany look like $1 million tonight. The aquamarine helped. I mean, that aquamarine gear was chef's kiss. And by the way, aqua gear for the Barbie girl. Just saying. Leave that. See if people pick up on that one. I love this match from beginning to end, until the end, obviously. Here's my thing. You're sacrificing the first title reign of Tiffany Stratton to give Becky Lynch another accomplishment that she doesn't need, to give short-term gain for having her holding that championship when it really isn't going to give any more eyes to the product because she's not currently filming anything. She's not currently going anywhere on any red carpets. So what's the purpose? What benefit does NXT get out of having Tiffany Stratton lose? I think it would have made much more sense, and it would have been a benefit to the storyline to have Tiffany cheat to win. Do something. Have her win by any means necessary. Just do something to get her over that hump. Because at the end of the day, somebody's now got to beat Becky. If Becky loses all these matches, for whatever reason, if Becky gets pinned clean, it does nothing to Becky. Zero. It doesn't hurt Becky in any way, shape, or form. And in 3 months, she can still take on Rhea Ripley, or in 6 months, depending on if you have her wrestling Rhea Ripley at the Royal Rumble like I do, or winning the Royal Rumble and wrestling her at WrestleMania. Either way, no harm to her character if she loses this, especially coming off the steel cage match with Trish. I saw no reason to have Becky Lynch win this match. NXT seems to think differently. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. But right here, right now, this is a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
You had to fight like hell to put this belt on Tiffany. And I'm going to go back over it again. Roxanne Perez drops the title right before Stand and Deliver with the anxiety issues. You were going to put the title on Tiffany Stratton in the ladder match. You didn't. You chose to go with Indy at the last minute. You then put the title on Indy Hartwell again in the triple threat match between Roxanne, Tiffany, and Indy when Indy hurts herself.
Mm-hmm.
To put the title on to, you were going in mid-match, you were going to put the title on Tiffany when Indy got hurt and got pulled out of the match. But Indy said she could go. You put the title back on Indy, only to have 2 weeks of an injured champion before she relinquishes the title, and then you wait another 5 weeks to put the title on Tiffany and Lowell. By the way, I love the idea of putting the title on Tiffany and Lowell because I was there and I got to witness the moment firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
But you fought like hell from April to Lowell to put this title on Tiffany Stratton. And now, after no great title defenses, sorry, Tiffany, and a handful of matches, period, whether they be title matches or anything, she's lost the title to Becky Lynch. I don't see the benefit to Tiffany Stratton. And that's where the mistake lies. It doesn't lie in putting the belt on Becky, and that's not a problem. You can I'm fine with putting the belt on Becky. Logistically, in my head, that makes sense. Becky Lynch is a star. Whatever I think about her ring wrestling, she's a star. You put the title on the star. I get it. But I just think it's short-term gain for long-term loss. Okay. I've ranted. Do you want to speak or do you want to go to the chat first and then you can go ahead?
I mean, let's go to the chat first.
God forbid I'm still too much time. They're experiencing a random storm in Saskatchewan. That was very unexpected. It was good for the TV deal. They're trying to... Is Becky Lynch being the champion really matter for a TV deal? I don't know. Tiffany was the better wrestler in this match. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And granted, I'm very anti-Becky. I've always been. I will say that now. I'm anti-Becky. I think she is the least talented of the 4 horsewomen. I think she is overrated to the nth degree. But this was a good match by both of them. Like, Becky didn't have a bad match. She's just clunky. She's not smooth and fluid like Tiffany is. And that's, I think, where the difference is between better wrestler in this match is that Tiffany's more fluid. Things move better and from spot to spot with Tiffany in these matches. Well, I mean, she's a Barbie girl, not just in a Barbie world. That era of women's wrestling has passed. Has it, though? Has it? Has it really? Do we not see the new Rhea Ripley shirt that's on sale?
Yep.
I kind of figured Kiana would interfere since her... Yeah, I thought that was your easy way out, is having Kiana interfere in the match. I really thought that was the easy way out. And then the easier way out at No Mercy is that Tiffany pins Kiana and Becky Lynch doesn't have to take the fall. The main event was so... I agree. The main event was great. Loved it. Fair points, even though Tiffany... You know what? As hard as they fought to put the title on her, I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. Okay, Astrid.
Well, I'm like, I get where you're coming from. To me, it was just like my original thought process when this was announced. I was thinking this is not going to be a clean finish at all. It's going to end up with a cheating, interference, something along those lines. And we're going to get this extended to No Mercy. And this is why I wrote the piece about it, because I kept thinking they want probably the ratings, to be steady between now and No Mercy. So this is the way to keep Becky here for the last couple of weeks. And then have the tickets to No Mercy kind of boost in there, because you're going to have one of those like rare Becky appearances in NXT. Because I even forgot that she was there in 2019 against Rhea Ripley. That's a different story. But it's like we've only had the second time that Becky has come down to NXT since her debut in the main roster. So it's like you think about like if she chose to go against Tiffany, it was for a reason. So that was my initial thought process. So when this was happening, I was waiting more towards the end for something, that big something to happen for Tiffany to retain. And her winning clean was definitely not something I expected tonight. I am happy for her because it's nice to see like she gets that one accomplishment that she didn't get to have with the fellow horsewomen. Now all of the fellow horsewomen have been NXT Women's Champions, which is really nice to see that as well for that statistic, I guess. But yeah, I just don't know why they would do it tonight. That's the part that like I feel like there must be something bigger on the horizon if this is happening tonight. That's like my thought process when I saw this happening. That's all I can think about. I was like, there has to be something bigger happening later on here, because I kept thinking I would like to see Becky go against the rest of the girls, like the Kianas and the Roxannes and the Blairs and Gigi's that have been now. So it was the top of the women's division in NXT. But this is something I expected to happen after No Mercy. So it's like, now how do you get Tiffany back on track after losing to Becky the way she did tonight, because it was a clean finish? So it's like I'm wondering how that's gonna happen. But again, like you said, and we watch NXT on a weekly basis, so I'm just gonna give them the benefit of the doubt for now, and then see what else they have planned out for this, because I just was not expecting it to happen tonight. I expected more of like that back and forth between Tiffany and Becky for until now, until No Mercy. But who knows? I'm hoping that there's something bigger for sure on the horizon. I mean, that's why they decided to go ahead with this, because it was unexpected to say the least. But no, it's still, I'm happy for Becky, and happy that the woman, it's the second night now that the women are main eventing. They main evented a Raw first, now in NXT. Let's keep this going, because it was a great main event.
They got time. They got
Yeah.
I want to say about 12 or 13 minutes from bell to bell.
Yeah.
Um, is it the longest match in the world? No, but nothing missed. There was no missing elements to this match. Like from start to finish, it felt like a full match. Yes, it wasn't a 20 or 30-minute classic, but not everything has
It
to be.
didn't have to be.
No,
No, and they told a great story as well within their wrestling, because I loved having those moments of like Becky going doing the little cartwheel after Tiffany had done it, like mocking her in that kind of way, and that Tiffany attempted to go for the main handle slam, and then Becky goes, "Oh no, we're not doing this today." So it's like those moments like that, like you get to like think about after the match is over, that I really think like were great highlights for this. But yeah, I just expected somebody to interfere, or her to cheat, because that's what we've been having for the last, what, two victories from Tiffany. So that would create a continuation to the story of like her cheating so far. But either way, the girls, they did great though.
Yeah, they did great. John Cena says he'd like to see Cora win the belt from Becky. We're gonna have to wait and see if Cora comes back to NXT at all. Period. After her time off, and what goes from there. Um, I kind of echo the sentiments of Barry. Oh God, please no, not Cora.
Yeah.
I think Cora's a lot further away than some of the other girls in the division. At this point, I think Blair. I think Blair's the obvious. Again, I've been pitching this, that I thought after No Mercy going into the next premium live event, it should be Blair Davenport with the championship anyways.
Mhm.
I had Blair Davenport beating a heel Tiffany Stratton, because Tiffany's been walking that line to babyface for so long that I thought that they would continue having her walk that. And if you have her up against somebody like a Blair Davenport, it makes a little bit of sense that you could cheer Tiffany at the expense of somebody like Blair Davenport. Sean Cena says maybe Blair, maybe Lyra, maybe. Like, there's a potential possibility for a lot of things, but you've now put yourself in the Dolph Ziggler problem. You've brought down a main roster star to NXT, and you've put a championship on them. At some point now, a main roster star has to now lose to an NXT talent. If you're going to have them lose to an NXT talent, why not just do it right out the gate? Why did she have to win?
Yeah.
Chris Best hopping in. I've been saying this for a while, but I wouldn't mind Roxanne Perez. I would say Blair too, but I'm not entirely sold on here. See, here's the thing. I'm sold on Blair Davenport for everything she's done except her stuff in WWE. I've seen her as Bea Priestley in New Japan. I've seen her as Bea Priestley in Stardom. I've seen her as Bea Priestley in many and many a different British indie scenes. She is absolutely top notch and fantastic. If they give her the opportunity, she's going to run with it.
Yeah.
But they just have to give her that opportunity. Brian Monkey says, Tia, now she's a big girl and knows wrestling hold. We'll get to Tia. Blair would be a good choice. I'd say Roxanne or Blair, definitely. See, the problem is now we have a babyface champion. So now it has to be a heel. In theory. They should have just kept the title on Tiffany.
There's no Tiffy time tonight.
All I have to say now is it's Tiffy time. All I have to say now.
Through all the hard work to get a brand new graphic made, we made the graphic, and then this week we added audio to it, expecting Tiffany to win.
Yeah.
It's useless. We can just delete it from the back end. We don't even need it no more. Because it's no longer Tiffy time. And it's all Becky Lynch's fault. Just another reason to hate Becky Lynch. It's fine.
Oh, no.
Just another reason to hate Becky Lynch. Oh, look, my arch nemesis Barry Lucky is hiding from me on another channel. Oh, Bobby and Barry. The feud that just won't end. They're almost as bad as John Cena and Randy Orton. They'll fight forever. We're going to go ahead and start the show as we normally would by going back to the beginning of the show. We have a recap of everything that happened last week between the main event stuff, between Ilya and Wes Lee getting in each other's face, and then setting up of this match. We then have the opening match, Wes Lee versus Ilya Dragunov, to which I instantly went ahead and messaged Astrid and went, Banger is opening the show. Mm-hmm. This is going to be good. Astrid, what did you think of Wes Lee versus Ilya Dragunov?
Yeah, I'm glad this was the opener because holy moly, these two. I can never get enough for having these two together in the ring. I wish I would have done something. I know that Dragunov was going to win it. That was the only part that was like, I wanted to. I wish I could have seen both of them winning at the same time. I know that's not a possibility, but still, no. I love how this turned out to be. They had great chemistry. It's nothing new there either. They did a great job, and I'm glad this was the opener to get people going for tonight, knowing that the women were going to be the main event as well. So I was like, I like how they had a good closer and a good opener. So I was like, let's just see how it goes in between. But yeah, I loved it really.
The My GM model will be very happy. They opened with a banger. They ended with a banger. The My GM drama curve is going to be very, very happy. For those who don't know, the My GM drama curve can be found every Wednesday night here on our local establishment between me and Parrish as we go ahead and fight over Wrestle Draft. No, I love this match. I don't have any notes for it. Ilya wins with that falling forearm. This match was fantastic. They booked it perfectly. Both guys did everything they needed to do. At the end, Mello comes out and just holds up his championship. And we have our first match announced our second match announced for No Mercy. Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov 2 for the NXT Championship. I mean, you can't go wrong. There was no bad option here. Let's just be clear. Mm-hmm. If Ilya wins, great. If Wes Lee wins, great. There was no bad option. I'm surprised they didn't go the triple threat route. We talked about it last week. I'm shocked they didn't go the triple threat route because that's where I thought we were headed, to a triple threat match. But that wasn't the case. We are sitting here now with a one-on-one match, potentially. We'll talk more about what happens with Wes Lee and where he goes from here. Yeah, the graphics for No Mercy are awesome. I do love the WWE graphics for No Mercy. Unless you're talking about my Tiffany graphic, in which case... I mean, I worked really hard on that for at least 5 whole minutes. If Becky is off Raw now and Alexa's gone, they don't have... Sean. They have Rhea Ripley. She is the biggest female wrestling star currently active in any company. Except maybe Mariah May. But other than Mariah May, and maybe Mai Iwatani, the other girl that's in the group with them. Andre will correct me, I'm sure. But no, Raw is not lacking the fact that they have no big star. Now, granted, They brought back a huge star on Raw with Nia Jax. You know what? I'm excited for one reason to have Nia Jax back. Because I get to make my whole jokes again. And that's all it's so great.
No
Those who don't
comment.
remember that, just search Nia Jax and my hole and YouTube will help you. It's fine.
You can hear my thoughts on it on Friday.
I was telling OMD earlier, I'm ready to see Wesley on the main roster. I'd be excited if Wesley went up to the main roster. I'd be disappointed to no longer see him every Tuesday night, but I'd be excited to see him on the main roster because I think Triple H will do good things with him. I don't think he'll end up like Ricochet because Triple H is trying to rebuild Ricochet from all the things that Vince did to Ricochet. I think we might be in a better position with Wesley starting fresh with the new team. I knew them. Dude, it's my favorite thing about Nia Jax. It's talking about how unsafe a wrestler she is and talking about my whole jokes. It really is. I think Wesley would make a good challenger for Rey in the U.S. title. Nope. That would be fun. I disagree.
Yeah.
I put him on Raw. I put him on Raw with Gunther in that IC title. I mean, Gable versus Wesley. Otis versus Wesley. Ciampa versus Wesley. Gunther versus Wesley.
Gargano
when he eventually comes back, if he ever comes back.
And even Ricochet.
You know, Ciampa's trying to find Gargano. Maybe someday he finds him. Who knows?
Yeah.
But no, as much as I think it'd be fun to watch him with Rey in the U.S. title, I definitely have Wesley on Raw. I think that's a much better place for him. They also have more time. And when you have smaller guys like Wesley, you need a bit more time to be able to put them on screen. Because you've only got so much time on SmackDown. And remember, you got to factor out 10 minutes of every show has to be factored out for at least 10 minutes of Bloodline stuff.
Only 10?
A minimum of 10. You have a minimum of 10 minutes of Bloodline stuff on every show, even if they're not there. After this match, like I said, we got Carmelo Hayes coming out. We get a recap plus post-show footage, which I liked. We got more. I also do like that Vic Joseph mentions that Vaughn moved his head just slightly before the impact to know that the footage was already out there. So they were like, look, we're going to make this make sense. He moved his head slightly before the impact. But no, I thought all of this was really well done, believe it or not. We've been making, obviously we knew we were going to be making fun of it all week, and we did, and we had fun doing it. That being said, NXT did a really good job of trying to make it serious for a minute here. They definitely Lance Stormed it for a bit.
And even Big saying, I made some comments last week I wanted to apologize about, and I was like,
yeah.
That novella part.
We got Throwback coming in saying, what's good, guys? What a show. That was the way to make my week better since I'm moving out of my home, but it's a bright spot. Keep killing it. Thank you, Throwback, and good luck on the move. I know it's been tough on you, but you will make it through it. But yeah, this was a killer show. Oh, we then get one of my favorite moments of the show, the Baron Corbin promo. Oh, this is great. I love this. He says, I sat here 7 days ago and watched something so vicious, so violent. You know what? I don't like Vaughn, and I'm not going to pretend to. But the stories that Vaughn says are real. And, you know, the feelings are real. So I want to call out Braun Breaker. And Braun comes out. He looks all angry. And Baron's like, that was great. And they get in the ring, and I'm like, oh, God, they're going to be a tag team. No. No, Sean, why would you do this? No. And thankfully, it's not very long that Braun Breaker turns and starts making fun of Baron Corbin. He says, look, you idiot. I did what I did last week for myself. I didn't do it for you. I don't care about your respect. I don't care about anything. I just did it for me. He put me through a table, so I ended his career. And then Baron comes back with the greatest comeback ever for Baron Corbin. You should care about my respect. I'm the one who retired an Olympic gold medalist and ended his career. I forced another Olympic gold medalist out of NXT. We'll get back to that one in a little bit. I went ahead and wrestled The Undertaker in Madison Square Garden. I know about evil. And I was the one who pinned Roman Reigns last, and that's where Braun Breaker cuts him off. Too many Vons and Brons, and I get myself confused.
And Baron, they all sound so similar. Why would you do that?
It's a whole bunch of bullshit. Braun breaks him up here and says, you know what? I don't care about all the things you've done. I don't care about your accomplishments. If you want to go ahead and argue about this more, me versus you at No Mercy. To which we get our third match for No Mercy. And I've lost my mouse. Hold on, here it is. Braun Breaker versus Baron Corbin. I'm less excited for this match at No Mercy. I'll be honest. What about you?
I'm hoping this is like Braun's last match. I'm just done with him at this point. I don't want anything to do with him. But I love Baron,
match in NXT or just last match ever? Anywhere.
Can I have both in one day? I will like it. I love Baron though, so it's exciting to be able to see him having another match as well. But Braun, I'm just I was like, poor guy. All he did was beat through the table, and that's equivalent to ending his career.
It does seem a little off balance, doesn't it?
What?
But you know what? You know what? The Steiners have never been the most thoughtful people in the world. I mean, we all know about what Rick Steiner thinks, and, well, Scott Steiner can't do math, so, yeah. That will be impossible to get Vaughn. This will do the impossible and get... You know what? Vaughn was doing okay with that before all of this. Mm-hmm. I do think this is going to get Vaughn over with the crowd. However, it won't be over because of his in-ring talent. It will be over because of a storyline. And you know what? I'll take it. I'll take the wins where I can get it with Von Wagner.
I just hope they don't bring him back with a big bump in his head or anything like that to resemble when he looked like as a child.
Yeah, I'm worried about that one.
I'm worried about that too.
Oh, it's so wrestling to have him come back and have everything that he fixed come back the wrong way.
And I can see it happen and just no, please don't. No.
As far as Chris's question, so is Braun face again or is Baron face here? No. The answer is no to both. Neither one is a face. They're both heels because Baron was excited that Braun tried to end Vaughn's career, and Braun doesn't give a shit about what Baron thinks. So at the end of the day, they're both kind of heels, and nothing makes sense, and nobody gives a shit. So I'm hoping this is just another win for Baron Corbin, and we can move on with Baron Corbin back in the title hunt.
Sounds great to me. Please.
After this, we get JBBJ and Myles backstage working out and heading to the ring. Chris says, okay, I was very confused by that segment. Yeah. See, NXT does this thing 9 times. They do this thing very often. They really don't care if you're a babyface or a heel. They're like, oh, look, we can make a story out of this. Shove them in the ring and do it. Which is good. Because it diverts the whole babyface heel dynamic, which is nice. You don't always need to have a babyface and a heel. This is basically make Baron Corbin look good and give Braun Breaker try to get the fans to care about Braun Breaker, because the fans don't give a shit about Braun Breaker.
Agreed.
We then get Charlie and Friends versus JBBJ and Myles. This certainly was a match. Of wrestling matches, you can say this was a match.
I'll count it because a bell rang.
Yeah, it rang to start. It rang to end.
That's the only reason why.
It happened. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad.
No.
It did happen though.
It was one of those what we I forgot the name of what we gave it to, but it's one of those matches in NXT that just happens mostly because of the storyline, not because the match is supposed to be the match.
Yeah, as we've called it, it's a storyline match. It has nothing to do with the actual things that happen during the match. It doesn't matter what happened before. It doesn't matter what happened after. It only matters what happened, which is a 2-second spot where Myles pulls Henley out of the way of a diving Damon Kemp into a crowd of people. And then as soon as he saves Henley, he turns on Briggs and Jensen and runs Jensen into the turnbuckle and throws him into the ring to get pinned. I mean, good. It gave Myles something to do, so good.
Yeah.
But wait, what?
It was a cluster F, basically.
It really was. You could have taken all this time and just given it to that women's championship match. If you want to complain and say it could use a few more minutes, you could have took this and give it to them. It'd have been okay. Anything else about this that you want to talk about? What do you think about a heel Myles Borne?
I don't know if I'm a fan of that yet. I like him like being like this right now because it's just a way for us to get to know him for now. But I'm like happy for him as a babyface to like kind of win the crowd over with him as his character and introduce him and then turn him heel later. But this is a heel turn as it is. That's all you can get from me. Come on.
Yeah, we then get the Chase U segment where Andre ends class and he asks Chase to go ahead and check up on Thea Hale. And Duke says, okay, well, she keeps calling me bestie, so I'm sure I can go ahead and take care of this. And he opens his phone and he has her number. He can text her or call her. But for some reason, the fact that he no longer has her location is a big deal. Is this an iPhone thing? Like, I don't fucking get it. Like, is it important that you give somebody your location?
I think it's ironic that you say that because my parents share their location with my sister and they have Androids. I don't share with anybody. I think it's funny because I've only shared my location with one person ever in my iPhone, and that was one of my best friends. That's it. I was like, I don't know why this is a thing because I never, aside from that, I had never done it before. That only happened this year.
What was I supposed to take something different from this segment that I missed? Like, because like it's not only is it that part where he like stops and goes, well, I guess there's nothing I can do, and I'm like, the message button is right there, Duke. You could just
And the
hit
call
the
button right
message
next
button.
to it.
But he's like, nope, nothing I can do. I don't know, Andre. There's nothing we can do. And then they cut to Tia, and Tia's sitting in the bar, which is really just the backstage area where they have food and drink. Typical that Tia Hale be found in catering. Of course she would. Anyways, she's back there with JC Jane, and she goes ahead and hits stop sharing location. To which again I go, why is this the important thing here? Like, shouldn't she have just blocked him? Wouldn't that have made more sense?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
Me neither.
As Sean
Maybe
said,
it's for a younger generation than us because I don't get it.
these damn fucking millennials. That's all I have to say.
I can't as a millennial. Don't say that.
I'm a millennial too, but I consider myself Gen Z. Just so we're clear. Anyways, JC Jane is sitting here and she's like, well, don't get too overexcited here, but these guys are going to come over and talk to us.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, but really? Right now? And she's, they're coming. And then the guys are great. Because then they just rag on Tia Hale for like 4 minutes. I thought it was
I was
great.
not expecting that at all. And it's just like I knew they were kind of flirting with JC until they saw Thea and it's like, yeah, let's go hang out. And they're like, do you need permission from Andre Chase? Do you need this? You need a permission slip? And I was like, that's not how I expected them to answer.
I loved it. I thought it was great that these guys who want to hit on JC Jane are like, oh, Thea Hale, nope, we don't need you. You're a baby. Like, I mean, I get it. She's like 19 years old. It kind of makes sense, but more just to my Thea Hale hating soul, it was just so great to see her get shat on by actual WWE television. Tia Hale giving an acting masterclass. They go ahead and they beat up the guys in the worst fight seen on television since a bad Japanese anime samurai movie. You've watched those movies with those bad Japanese fight scenes. And it's about as bad as those. And they're going to go hang out next week and they're going to go shopping because Thea Hale has to get rid of this look. So we're officially going to have bad girl Thea Hale look next week, apparently.
I hope she doesn't go emo. Please don't wear like just black clothes and like, no. I hope she doesn't do that. No, my emo heart's not gonna take it.
She's gonna go full 90s emo, I guarantee it.
No, I'm not ready
And she's
for
not
this.
even just gonna go full 90s emo. She's gonna go full 90s trashy emo. Because trashy is the only word I can use in the podcast. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't want it.
Tell me I'm wrong, though.
I know you're not. That's why I don't want it.
You're like, I want to be mad at you, but you're not wrong.
I'm not looking forward to that segment when it happens next week.
Speaking of not looking forward to things, Lyra Valkyria versus Dana Brooke.
Two of
Astrid.
your favorite people.
Astrid. My entire notes for this match: Lyra versus Dana. Lyra beats Dana. There, that was the extent of my notes.
The only thing I liked about this was that if you think about it from the storyline standpoint, Dana is like kind of showing up that she's like the veteran and showing Kalani, kind of like that. And then Lyra comes in here. If you notice from the get go, she's like showing off over Dana, like giving her, like doing these counters and doing the cartwheel stuff, just like the way Dana was doing it, just doing it after Dana and showing up basically that she's doing it better than Dana, which I think is funny when you think about it from that storyline standpoint of like, you're the veteran, but I'm just showing you out, even though like, if you think about it, I've been here in NXT, a short amount of time. So I like that standpoint. I think the part that stood out probably to all of us is just the ending because after Lyra when she goes to shake Dana's hand and Dana shakes it, and then when she's turning around, Dana goes to attack her, but Kalani's the one that stops her from doing so. And Lyra notices that something must have happened, and she looks back, but then Kalani's already holding off on Dana, so Dana didn't get to have her attack on Lyra tonight. So I don't know what's gonna happen with them moving forward. Of like, is Lyra gonna have some kind of segment next week, kind of confronting them to ask them what happened between them, or even just take Kalani aside and ask Kalani, and then that will kind of irritate Dana even more because she's talking to her again. That's the only thing I can see happening from this.
Yeah, that all happened. Great. We then get the announcement that the women's breakout tournament is coming back again.
Yes.
You know what? I'm excited for the women's breakout tournament until I started thinking about that.
You started thinking about the potentials.
So it's going to be Danny Palmer, the Cavalieri twins that we saw, Lola Vice.
Yeah, probably Brooklyn. She was the one next to Roxanne, the one on her right, basically.
Wait, that wasn't the twins?
No, that was Brooklyn, the blonde one.
I'll be honest. I saw the two blondes and instantly put in my notes the Cavalieri.
And then the other one, I missed out on her name before and I found it later. Izzy. I know she debuted not too long ago. I think on Level Up, if I'm not mistaken, and on the live shows. So I was like, based on that, I think I see the girls that were with Roxanne, 3 of them being in that part, and then Lola as well.
Yeah, and then we're obviously going to have a few more. But I thought about it and I go, ooh, the talent pool is a bit thin this time.
But still, it's going to be a great showcase for whoever it is. That's the only thing I'm thinking about.
I agree. It's going to be a great showcase for women's wrestling.
Yeah.
My question, and we have Sean Cena coming in, Carmen Petrovic, who faced Fallon on Level Up. Izzy Dime, is that the name?
There you go. Yes, sir.
Also,
I think it's Dame, if I'm not mistaken, is with an A, but yeah, okay. Izzy.
Random blonde number 4. I don't know. I honestly just assumed that it was the Cavalieri twins because they were blonde and they looked the same.
No.
Going back to Tia Hale and her look, Barry Munga says she needs to go full pirate hat, eye patch, parrot, the lot. That'd be fun. You know, we've had a female pirate on not on NXT television, but we have had one in WWE before. Katie Lee Burchill.
Yeah.
Don't look up that storyline. It's not good. You don't want to see it. WWE was definitely.
We're helping you in the end. Just know the name and that's about it.
Yeah. Just understand the name. Katrina's Infamy, I think, is what she goes by on Twitter now. She's fantastic. I adore her. She was great. Same. I like emo though too. I love emo, but I'm telling you, she's gonna go full trashy emo girl, and it's going to be hysterical. That's also because I'm not emo. I didn't grow up like a scene queen like some of our friends here, and I've seen the pictures. They do exist, and she was emo scene queen. Hell, she was emo scene queen just a couple years ago. It wasn't even an old picture, guys.
It still is within me. It's okay.
Kyrie was a pirate too, but
I guess.
Kyrie was a good pirate. Katie Lee Burchill was not.
Katie was a dupe.
So my friend Rob saying emo Ed would be something to see. My hair doesn't grow long enough.
Oh my god, like that meme from Jay. I think I see you with the hair like that too. That you can flip off.
If y'all buy me a wig for Halloween, I will wear an emo wig and like.
I'm clipping this and sending that to the chat later.
We then get Eddie Thorpe talking about Dijak and about all the shortcuts that Dijak's been taking, and then Dijak appears on the screen.
I was thinking, did Stevie hack the screen or what?
No. He has an NXT crew with him. It is what it is, and they just send the signal and whatnot. I love how your thing is like your biggest problem with the segment is that he hacked the feed to get into it. My bigger problem is that he thought it was going to be important that he whipped the tree with his belt to mark his territory. Because as soon as he started undoing his belt, I thought he was going to piss on the spiritual fire, which would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah. I have no thoughts about this right now. No words.
But am I out of line of thinking when you started seeing?
No, like I think that would have made sense. I just whatever happened. No.
Because he used the words, "I'm going to mark my territory."
Yeah.
When animals mark their territory, they pee on something.
I know.
Barry Monkey, I thought exactly the same thing. Like
that makes more sense.
I'm not crazy here. That did make a whole lot of sense. And honestly, it made a whole lot more sense than whipping the tree with your belt.
That's what that part just that's why this segment's a whole lot of okay. Wait, you muted yourself.
NXT don't ever change. So many great and awful things all at once. I love it. We then get Dominic Mysterio walking around backstage without mommy. I don't know who let him loose without his parental guardian. Any of them. But apparently he's wandering around loose by himself this week. And he walks up to Carmelo and he starts ragging on Carmelo about not being original and going ahead and finding a way to find a number one contender. Like, this is the way we found number one contenders for 30 years in wrestling, maybe longer. You have a match, you get a number one contender, you have a match. And I love how Melo's like, really? You're going to talk to me about being original? And I was like, please say Eddie Guerrero. Please say Eddie Guerrero. I was
waiting for that.
Yep. But of course, Melo doesn't say it. He hints at it. And he goes, you know what? And then Dom goes, you know what? I'm a better champion than you because I'm holding the A championship. Melo's like, no. The A championship meant something different when I held the title. Yeah. When I held the title, it was the A championship because it was the most important and prestigious title in this division. You're a disgrace to that championship. But if you want to go ahead and settle this, me and you next week can go ahead in there, champ versus champ, and settle this. And I'm like, ooh, Dominic versus Carmelo Hayes. Sign me up. No. Well, yes, but no. Dar Amazing says, hey, Ed, Dom's been in the business since 2005.
I was about to say, he hasn't been alive that long.
He has.
That's why he doesn't know.
Fortunately, he has.
I know, but you said 30 years, and he's younger than that.
No. I'm saying that's how he found number one contenders.
I know.
And you also know what? I say 30 years and think like back to the 70s and the 80s, forgetting that 30 years ago is like the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting old.
That's what I said. When you said 30 years, I was thinking, I was going to say, he wasn't alive in 30 years ago. So
No, but like I said, I was more talking about this is the way that we've been finding number one contenders by having Wrestler A wrestles wrestler B. The winner of that goes on to face the champion. That's what I was talking
but it sounded funny thinking about the math with Dom's age.
I think Dominic is 30, by the way. I'm going to look that up.
I think he's younger than me.
Why don't you go ahead and talk about Becky Lynch's backstage interview?
Okay. I like the interview mostly because she said that she said I'm back home, and I'm like, this is what NXT is. So everybody that comes from the main roster, I love that they always call it home though. She said it's been, she was reflecting back on her career. It's been 10 years and everything she's done, since going to the main roster. And then the part that I liked was having Kiana interrupt her, of all people. She's like, I don't want you here. And then Becky's like, well, and she's like, oh, I'll send you back to the Raw roster just empty handed. And she's like, well, I don't even like you either. But basically, if I stay here, I'm going to have to face you too. So that was pretty much it.
Yeah, talk about another match I really don't want to see. Becky Lynch versus Kiana James from accounting. Talking about Dominic Mysterio versus Carmelo Hayes, the biggest NXT match ever. It kind of is, honestly. The North American champion versus the NXT champion. It's one of the biggest NXT matches to ever happen. Dominic is 26, by the way. Not quite 30.
I told you he was younger than me.
I said almost 30 years, and Dominic's almost 30. He's on the right side of almost to be 30. Yeah, it was a promo. We then get Tyler Bate coming to the ring, which apparently Astrid didn't notice. Somehow she missed Tyler Bate coming to the ring.
I know, what a crime.
We then see Axiom come to the ring with his funny entrance, which I still don't get. Like the stop motion math problem things, I don't get.
It looks cool though.
John Morrison did it better because essentially it's just a shitty version of John Morrison's slow motion entrance. Just fast forwarded.
No, this was cool too. Both of them could be cool at the same time.
No, not really.
Yes, let's move on.
They could be.
You're wrong. You're wrong. Let's move on.
We then get Metaphor still disgracing the Toxic Lounge up there with Noam Dar in an elephant costume, with the rest of Knucklehead crew being dressed like safari people. Not going to make any jokes.
No. Leave it there.
Jokes being made about the multiple dark skinned people all being in safari outfits. No, we're
not doing that. No.
Barry Monkey says Dominic has the ring skill of a 30-year veteran, so it's an understandable mistake. He is correct. Dominic has gotten the crowd reaction of a 30-year veteran. Your thoughts on Axiom versus Tyler Bate?
Be still my heart. I couldn't take it.
Who did you want to win?
I couldn't pick one. I really couldn't. I was just watching it and I barely took notes. I was like, I don't know who I want to cheer for on this one. It's like the hat back and forth. And it's like, oof. And that Spanish fly, chef's kiss. I loved it. No, I love the back and forth between these two, but just like I couldn't really pick one or the other one. I really couldn't. I tried.
NXT did succeed in picking one, and Tyler Bate wins the match.
Yeah, they picked for me. But no, they had a great match, and I really loved it. And I didn't want it to end, but obviously it has to end. But then we had Tyler winning of all people. But yeah, and then I think it's not a tie on this one. It's the other one, right? The other block, if I'm not mistaken.
So right now Tyler Bate is second in the group because that was his first match. He'll have a match on Level Up, and then he'll have a match, I believe, next week on NXT as well to finish out his stuff. Isn't it ironic that there's an extra week in between the tournament and the pay-per-view? Because they kept saying in 2.5 weeks, the winner of this will take on Noam Dar. And I'm like, isn't it ironic that we have... Oh, wait. I just realized why there's an extra week, and I'm an idiot. Because we have to have the Group A winner fight the Group B winner. I just realized that. I'm like, isn't it ironic that we're going to sit here and have, this extra week with all these people tied on Group B? No, dumb. There needs to be a winner in one group and a winner in the other group because they have to compete against each other. Andre says, go Tyler Bate. Yeah, sure. I didn't care who won. It was going to be a good match either way. It didn't much matter. After the match, we get Butch talking absolute nonsense, by the way. talking absolute garbage. He talks about how Butch talks about how he was in the UK tournament with Tyler Bate. That never happened. There was no Butch in the UK tournament. Don't know what the hell he's talking about. He then talks about how Butch and Tyler Bate had one of the Match of the Year candidates in 2017. Again, I have no idea what he's talking about. Butch did not wrestle Tyler Bate in 2017. There was this guy, though, that used to wrestle in NXT. His name was Pete Dunne. He was real good. And he wrestled Tyler Bate a whole bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who Butch is talking about and what matches and what universe Butch had. It's obviously a different multiverse.
Oh, it's a different timeline. That makes a lot more sense now. Got it. Yeah.
Man, we're really running this joke dry between Axiom and Butch, right?
It's not ever going to stop.
Someday we'll be done with these Butch jokes, huh?
Never.
No. We'll never be Pete done with these Butch jokes?
Yeah.
All right, we got Tiffany Stratton getting ready in her chef's kiss aquamarine green gear. Fantastic. We then get Random Match for No Reason part 2, where we have the Creeds taking on Idris Enofe and Malik Blade.
I was thinking, when did this get scheduled? It's not that when the Creeds were coming out, I was thinking, what the heck are they gonna face? I couldn't. I don't know. They lost me.
You know what though? The one thing they did to me, they did in this match that had me, because I was this close to believing it, is when they had the quick fire from Idris Enofe and Malik Blade in the beginning of the match. When they went ahead and knocked down Brutus and went ahead and did the dive to the outside and knocked him down, and he had him watching them. And then they went ahead and took down Julius in the ring. I legitimately thought they were going to put him over and just be like, aha, they surprised you and they got the win. It also would have helped for the TV time because there wasn't, as we said, we had a discussion about, there's an awful lot of these matches left and not a lot of time left. See what happens.
Yeah.
But it was a fine match. It did what it needed to do. They went ahead and the Creeds got the win with Angel and Humberto walking on from the crow's neck, from the Eagle's nest. We then had Hank and Tank coming out to the ring at the ringside area, but they got jumped by Lucien Price and what's his partner's name?
Nima.
There we go, Bronco Nima. Thank you. I didn't have it in my notes. I had question mark. They went ahead and tagged Hank and Tank, and the backstage, the family was watching. It was a fine match. It did what it needed to do. We will see what happens there. But before this match happened, we had the segment between Ava and Joe Gacy outside with the tree, where Joe Gacy talks about how the tree roots are rotten and how it's no longer 4 roots, 1 tree. The two of them, and they stand alone. And Joe Gacy puts his hand on the tree, and Ava puts her hand next to his. So it seems like these two are going to continue working together, which is nice. I like that. That'll be good. Dar Amazing. Andre says he wants it to be Bate versus Dar for the Heritage Cup. I think that's where we're headed. To be honest, I think we're headed to Nathan Frazer versus Tyler Bate in the finals of the Global Invitational. Which, by the way, I think is one of the options I gave the first week this was happening. We also have Dar Amazing saying these Butch jokes need to be butchered soon.
Yeah.
But I think NXT nothing needs more scripts. There's nothing that needs more scripts. Barry Monkey says, I know an excellent joke set in a butcher shop, but I've probably told it before. You might have, but if you haven't, just go ahead and drop it in there. And if it's something I can put on the screen, I might. We'll see. I know Barry Monkey's sense of humor. It's a bit on the dark side. It may not make it onto the television screen.
Just a little bit.
We have Trick Mello Gang backstage. Trick's backstage watching the promo. Mello walks in and they start talking about the Dawn match next week. And Trick goes, with those Judgment Day people and the way they like to do their things, you should have me ringside with you. And I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm going to keep it myself. Trick's like, come on, man. And meanwhile, while they're having their argument back and forth, Wesley just marches himself in the locker room, dragging a trash can behind him like a kid who's been told to clean out his bedroom. He throws about 4 things in there. Mello walks away after ending the conversation with Trick. And Trick just looks at him, and Trick walks away, and then Wesley takes his name off the locker and just chucks it in the trash and walks away. Yeah. I like it. I like the stuff they've done with Wesley. Everything with Wesley has been a little bit fun, a little bit teasy. They've not decided where they're going, and I like that. They've left it open-ended. What do you think about all of these segments? The tag match, the stuff with Ava and Joe Gacy, the Trick Mello stuff, the Wesley stuff here, all of this as a whole.
I mean, the tag was fine. I do like the part of having Ava and Gacy to continue because I feel like it would be great for Ava to grow and learn from Gacy. I think it'll be interesting to see if they add anybody else to the group after the diet is gone. Because if they do, that will be an interesting dynamic how they will add them in there. The only thing is gonna feel weird when they don't say four roots anymore because I'm so used to that by now. It's not the same. They just say two. It doesn't have the same, sound to it. No, this Trick Mellow part thing, this is very interesting. Of like, it makes me think back of like Mello's mindset as well, going back to like the asterisk, and it's like I don't want that to happen again. So that's why maybe he doesn't want Trick at ringside. And thinking back of Wesley's like every time I see Wesley and anything that happens with him, I just go back to thinking, when Zach was gone and thinking, this is it for Wes. He's gonna be done and that's about it. And thinking now to where he's at in the part, like you said, we don't know what's gonna happen next between him and the story he's telling here. I think they have possibilities, they have options is what I like about it, and you don't know where they're gonna go with him next, and it's very interesting. And I'm glad they still have him in a spotlight somehow on a weekly basis.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with this Wesley heel turn, not heel turn, howdy little bratty fucking child doing his thing. It's been fun. We then get one of the most pointless segments of the night. We get Lyra and Becky backstage before her match talking about stuff. Honestly, as soon as I saw Lyra walk in, I stopped listening.
No, it was a nice moment. I like having... Huh?
Was anything ever going to happen here that meant anything?
Well, the only thing will be like her saying is like, "Oh, you're making everybody at home really proud and keep killing it." The one part that I kept thinking what Becky being here tonight, and I hope we get that interaction sometime soon. Stephanie put in my head what she put it on Twitter. She's like, "I would like an interaction between her and Gigi." Just go, "Nice hair." Oh my god, I wanted something like that to happen, and I was like, maybe in the next couple of weeks we get something from there because we didn't get anything between her and Gigi. But I like having her and Lyra come in. It's not. It's. I think it's nice when you have people from the same background just like go at each other, like support each other in this way. So it was nice to see that interaction there.
Yeah, it looks great. And I really enjoyed that. Like I said, I tease about not listening to it. It was fine. It did what it needed to do. Again, it elevates Lyra Valkyria to have her rubbing elbows with Rhea Ripley. It elevates Lyra Valkyria to have her rubbing elbows with Becky Lynch. It does the things it needs to do. We then get, as I said in my notes, which apparently is very incorrect, Danny Palmer and the Calavares holding court with Roxanne Perez about the breakout tournament, where Roxanne's sitting back and going, "Yeah, the breakout tournament is great. After I won the breakout tournament, I did this, and I did this, and I did..." I'm like, oh, fucking shut up, Roxanne. I don't give a shit.
No,
I didn't care. I didn't care about braggy Roxanne. I didn't like braggy Roxanne. But thankfully, Lola Vice and Elektra Lopez came in. And then braggy Roxanne gets in here and she starts running her mouth again, where she goes, "Did your mommy give you permission to cut a promo?" and shit like that. It's just... Do you want to go ahead? Did you take notes about what they actually said? Because I basically just said they talk some crap about each other, and Roxanne calls out Lola for next week, and calls
Yeah. Lola says something about like, "Oh, you're basically causing trouble." I heard, and then Electra Star says like, "Oh, I heard like you're causing like trouble like in the locker room." And she goes, "I'm causing trouble." And then Lola kind of calmed down, Electra, and pushed her back. And he said, "Well, if you're looking for trouble, like you found it." And that's when Lola steps in, and that's what causes the match to be scheduled for next week. You're muted again.
I mute myself so I don't do dumb stuff, and then I don't unmute
forget.
myself and I do dumb stuff. Sorry, I'm reading Barry's joke and trying to see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it off the screen, Barry, but it's nice. I like that. It's funny. Anyways, yeah. So I'm gonna at this point now. Well, no, we'll get to it later. We get Tozawa versus Nathan Frazer, and Tozawa loses. Shocker.
That was another match.
Tozawa went 0-3. Man, my man Tozawa's had a bad week. He lost on Level Up. He lost to The Miz on Monday after getting 3 skull-crushing finales. And then he goes in with Nathan Frazer and has to get beaten there too. Couldn't they give him one win? Just one? Why? Why not? Respect for Tozawa.
I like how you said that your camera just like moved at the same time.
That's because I banged my table, so the whole table shook.
I know.
No, Tozawa did not beat The Miz. He got beat by The Miz. He got beat very badly by The Miz. I wish Tozawa beat The Miz. Wait, were there 2 matches with The Miz? Because I don't remember him winning. I clearly remember him getting 3 skull-crushing finales and losing.
Yeah, I don't remember any wins. So
okay, just want to make sure I wasn't going. I watched Raw last night. That didn't happen. Tozawa lost. Yeah, it's fine. We then get Joe Coffey and Duke Hudson going back and forth as we find out on this side of the bracket, as we'll put on the screen right now once I find my mouse again. Oh, these 2 screens is annoying for this. In Group B, nope, that's Group A. This is Group B. We have Joe Coffey on 4 points. You have Nathan Frazer on 4 points. Next week, Joe Coffey and Duke Hudson are face-to-face. If Duke Hudson beats Joe Coffey, we will have a 3-way tie atop the B group brackets with 4 wins, with 4 points apiece for each of them. However, if Joe Coffey simply gets a time limit or a win, he will automatically move on. Astrid, who do you think comes out of Group B?
I want it to be Nathan, but I have a feeling it's gonna be Coffee for some reason. I don't, because I feel like it's easy in that type of way for him to get a draw or get a time limit. Something it's easy for him to do that in that kind of sense. But I think a 3-way tie will be interesting because something like when you think about it, since we got the rules, it's not something I expected to happen. And seeing now how it got played, I was like, maybe that will be interesting when we see it.
Sean Cena wants to see Duke win next week. That'd be fun. Dara says, I thought Akira beat Miz on Raw weeks. He might have beaten him weeks ago heading into the LA Night match, but he sure as hell didn't beat him this week. He had a rough week this week. In Group A, what do you think's going to happen here? Remember, we have, I believe it's what? Axiom? No, it's Tyler Bate versus Charlie Dempsey on Level Up this week.
And then we have Butch and Tyler, too, coming up.
Butch and Tyler next week.
I'm going to go for Tyler.
You think Tyler's going to come out of this group? I think so, too. I think the tie is going to hurt Butch, and I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Joe Coffey versus Tyler Bate. Because they were feuding before this started. I have a side thing where I think Nathan Frazer wins, but I don't know how you make that happen. Like, it seems funky. Like, they'd have to go ahead and have... If Duke wins the match next week, and you have the 3-way tie, that means the following week, you'd have to have whoever's in Group B, wrestle twice. Because you'd have to have the triple threat match to open the show, and then theoretically, you would have them close the show as well, with the Group A winner, Tyler Bate, versus the Group B winner of whoever comes out of that triple threat match. Barry, like typical people from Wales. Nobody from Wales who's not interested. There aren't a lot of Welsh people in WWE, are there? A lot of Scots. A lot of Scotch people. A lot of Irish people, which I'm told aren't the same thing. And then English people apparently aren't the same thing to the Scottish and the Irish. I said that one time, my friend Tom got very mad at me. Comparing the English and the British. So, sorry, the British and the Irish, and saying they were sort of kind of alike. Yeah. And then, as we know, the Heritage Cup match will be happening live Saturday, September 30th, where Noam Dar will take on the winner of the Global Heritage Invitational Tournament. So we will know that winner coming up in a few weeks. Dar Amazing says, can't we just make the loser of Group B, Tozawa, go? Yes, I wholeheartedly agree that if they all tie, then obviously Tozawa should move forward, considering he's not involved in the tie. That seems like a great scenario.
No.
We got Mustafa Ali backstage. He's talking about last week. He's talking about how, he was upset that Dominic Mysterio did it the way he did it. But you know what? He can't do nothing about it. It's out of his hands. The match happened. He won. He's right, though. He won the match. I wouldn't let Dragon Lee in. Are you kidding? I get to have a one-on-one match? No, I'm not letting you in. Dragon Lee comes in to complain, and Ali's like, no, I won't let you in. But I'll promise you the first shot when I win. God, I love this delusional heel that thinks he's a babyface in Mustafa Ali. It's so freaking good. And by the way, he's doing a fantastic job with it.
Oh, yeah.
Because he feels earnest and he feels like he believes everything he's saying, even though we all know he's full of shit, which is the best kind of thing for him to do.
Yeah.
That's great. Kelly Kincaid is trying to catch up with Wesley as he's walking out of the arena. Wesley says, well, I told you all if I wasn't going to No Mercy that I was going to go home. Well, I cleaned out my locker and I'm going to go home. He gives his girlfriend a kiss and he leaves the building. And then all of a sudden, Blair Davenport apparently gets attacked by Gigi Dolan. I had that reversed in my notes until I saw the rest of the segment, to where I realized that Gigi Dolan was in the black hoodie. And I'm like, that seems silly. Because Blair used to be the one that attacked in the black hoodie. Why did we just keep going with that? That makes sense for my note to make it easier. But apparently that's still a thing, so great.
Hooray!
Hey, another women's story that doesn't involve the championship.
I know.
So, to recap for the women's stories, we have Gigi Dolan and Blair Davenport. We have Roxanne Perez fighting with Elektra Lopez and her daughter Lola Vice. We have Kiana James trying to fight with Becky Lynch, while Becky Lynch is also fighting with Tiffany Stratton. And we have Lyra Valkyria fighting with Dana Brooke and Kalani Jordan caught in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got a decent amount of women's stories going on. Not to mention, we got a breakout tournament coming up to feature all kinds of not ready talent that are going to be out there and getting TV time. Do you think the women's breakout tournament matches go longer than the Queen's Crown matches?
How can you put me in that position?
Think about it. Everybody bitched that the Queen's Crown matches were too short, right? Do you think that these breakout matches are going to go longer or shorter than those matches?
I was gonna say, I think it depends on who's wrestling. Because if it's a Lola, I get it being longer than a Queen's Crown. But if it's somebody like a Brooklyn who we've barely seen wrestle, Danny, I could see her going a little bit longer. So I think it just depends on who's in it.
By the way, a name that we forgot to mention, Ariana Grande. Ariana, what's her wrestling name?
Grace,
that's the one.
Close enough.
No, it's not close enough. I was trying not to call her Ariana Santino because it's Santino's daughter.
But wasn't she the initial one? No, right? I don't think she was.
She was, but she's been out for like a year and a half and she's done nothing. So if you're going to bring her back, you might as well bring her back and have her win the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Can you count it? No, but she's in the ring wrestling.
Very.
I didn't say she's wrestling. She's a wrestler. I said that she's involved in a wrestling story. There's a difference.
Another thing I was thinking of too, with the tournament is didn't Roxanne win like a championship match after winning the tournament?
So she won the breakout, and she was gonna go after Mandy. She went ahead and cashed in. She went ahead and won the tag team titles with Cora before the match, and then that's when Cora turned on her during the breakout tournament.
Because I was thinking, are they gonna make Rufta this year? Because any of those girls that win that tournament, I don't see them going for any championship match. Oh, this
Star
is
Amazing
Lola.
Also, before I forget, congratulations, Star Amazing. Your birthday's in half an hour. We won't be here, but happy birthday when you do. Also, Andre, how dare you? Andre, take this back or I won't promote your show. Take it back or I won't promote it. We have the graphic in here. I won't show it if you don't take it back.
It's like, bad Andre. That's how you would say.
Barry is correct. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
It is technically your birthday for Barry, so. No, Andre, all of it. Dana, take it all back.
Oh, Sean Cena has a good one there.
Yeah, Stevie Turner returned for the tournament.
Yeah.
She has wrestled on live event shows in the Florida House Loop.
Yes.
So she is another potential contender. Next week on the show, we're going to be talking about Dom versus Carmelo Hayes, Roxanne versus Lola, Tyler Bate versus Butch, and Joe Coffey versus Pete Dunne. Well, no, sorry, Coffey versus Duke. I have Dunne written here instead of Duke. And Dar Amazing is correct. I know that Carmelo Hayes got a championship match. Yes, and he walked up to Adam Cole, and they had a banger of a match between him and Adam Cole.
Yeah.
I liked Dana and Emma as a tag team when Dana was supposed to still be learning how to wrestle, and it was understandable that she was shit. She's still shit now, and she's being portrayed as the trainer. That's where I have a problem, Andre. She's shit. She's more shit than what you think Moon Knight was. And I know how much you think Moon Knight was shit. And then we get Tiffany versus Becky. Which we've already talked about. Fantastic match. Poor decision by NXT to put the championship title on Becky Lynch. Mostly because it means that I don't get to play this enough. So I'm going to play it again now. Because frankly, we've put in the work to make it happen.
All I have to say now is it's Tiffy time.
I love it. I made it happen.
I'm so sad.
The audio, I mean.
I'm so sad we finally got the audio for It's Tiffy Time. And it's no longer Tiffy Time. But you're saying, you know what? The show's getting close to being over. What else is going on? Well, you know what? This is the things that you can find this week on our local establishment. And then come back and me and Ash will tell us where you can find us this week. So yes, that's where you can find us this week. But Astrid, where can the good people find you this week?
You can find me mostly on my social media, Instagram threads Astrid Pizarro 20, and then Blue Sky and X, aka Twitter, is Astrid Pizarro. You can find me hopefully doing Ladies Season Showcase on Friday. We unfortunately couldn't do it last week because I was working. I didn't know what time I was going to be home to do the show. But yeah, that's all we have for today. And then I just wrote a piece for Body Sim about Becky Lynch versus Tiffany before the match happened today. So if you can check that out there on their account there as well. And my NXT review will be a women's wrestling talk again. And you can check out my vlogs on my YouTube channel that I've been putting on a weekly basis too.
Yeah, she had me dancing last week on the vlog. Make sure you go check it out. You can find me on the X at edfries12584. You can find me right here on Twitch with all my gaming content at edfries2002. I promise there will be gaming content coming back. It's been a while. I'm trying to get in the swing of things. There will be some gaming content in the near future. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Also, don't forget to go check out rogueenergy.com and use the promo code OLEPODS to get 10% off your order. I finally got my sour watermelon, and it is fantastic. I thoroughly enjoy it. So definitely go ahead and check that out. It's my new hydration drink to go ahead and get me through the day on these hot days in Massachusetts. Because unlike the people in Florida that, oh, it's so hot. We live in the hottest place in the world. How can it be so hot? In Massachusetts, it's not supposed to be hot. So when it's hot here,
It's
a
not hot,
problem.
it's raining. I can't get anything for that.
Oh, God forbid. First it's hot. Now we gave you water, and now you're upset. I'm also going to go ahead and go ahead and have some arguments with the comment section as we got right here. We got that kind of dude saying Dana is a wily veteran. Lots of what great knowledge does Dana Brooke have to pass on to the newbies? Andre, tell me. Other than how to change her face so that you don't look like the same person that you were when you first started with the company, what else does she have for knowledge that she can tell the newbies? I don't understand. Our amazing hopes that shit is chicken crap so that we can try to make chicken salad. Very good. No, Rob, we do not need a Dana and a Lash Legend tag team for me. No, we certainly do not need that. We got Sean Cena jumping in. I know this isn't wrestling related, but speedy recovery to Aaron Rodgers. He got what he got, and he deserved what he got. I'm sorry,
whatever that is, though. I think it's football, right?
He tore his Achilles heel 4 plays into his New York Jets career after bitching, whining, and moaning and complaining that he wanted to continue playing.
Trust me, I heard all about it at work.
I just laughed, to be perfectly honest with you. Andre says he has a sour watermelon sitting right here in the room. And you know what? He still hasn't apologized, but we're going to go ahead and put the graphic up anyways. Should you be in the Edmonton area, you can go ahead and check out my friend, my co-host on Marvel Talk, Andre, and Astrid's co-host on Women's Wrestling Talk. No, on Women's Wrestling Showcase. That's the show.
Ladies Wrestling Showcase. Wow, you came up with the name.
I did. And you know what? I didn't remember it when I told it to you 8 months ago and you asked me which one it was. Anyways, introduction to Japanese wrestling is going to be at the Edmonton Expo the 16th of September at 3 p.m. in the Anime Room. So definitely go ahead and give that a look out if you are in the Edmonton, Alberta area. It is a fantastic thing to do. They are great friends of the channel. They do content with me. They do content with Astrid. It makes perfect sense to go ahead and promote our friends. You can also find me tomorrow night as I try to overtake Chris Parrish in the Survivor Series Premium Live event on WrestleDraft Season 2. My march to the top has continued. I'm almost there. I'm getting closer and closer by the week. Let's see. Do we have any last comments? Barry Monkey says, I think WWE looked at how many Rose got over despite being a shit wrestler and thought, we could do that with Dana. No, that's not what happened. Because Randy Rose got better when she got brought down to NXT, redesigned her career, and became one of the best NXT Women's Champions to ever carry a title. And that's saying a lot considering the great NXT Women's Champions we've had. Go ahead, go kick Parrish's ass. Parrish isn't here this week, so I can go ahead and put this comment up. We are going to go ahead and raid on our local establishment side. We're going to raid our good friend Mike the Ref. He is fantastic to us as he is raiding us all the time, especially on those Wednesday nights. So we're going to go ahead and raid him here. So if Astrid, you can raid us and then we'll raid them. That will be how it works. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Goodbye.